So, so happy Sabbath to everyone in the comments. Um, it is a Sabbath, so it is what you call Saturday or what you call Saturday. So, the word Saturday just basically means Saturn, the planet, day, but it's not specifically what you are calling now a planet or what you are calling. It's not an actual planet. So what we are calling Satan, the planet, is what we are observing as a light. Remember, it's just a light. What we are calling Saturn with its ring, it's just a light that is observable to us from within this atmosphere. For example, if you get on Google and you Google a planet, you have two options. So one of the options is what that planet represents according to Google or Google scholars. And then you have what we call an image that is generated by Google. Remember, it's not a picture. When you go to Google, it clearly says image. I come in the image of. It's not a picture, it's the image. So when you Google Mars, what does Google show you? It shows you what you can call an image, not a picture, an image. And an image is something that is computer generated, or a person's mind generates an image, so it's created an image. For example, if you are to take a telescope and go and observe the planets or the other water transitions or what you are calling atmospheres, what you see is a light. For example, right now, the moon will be full. When you go outside, you see the moon and what you call Jupiter. So that bright star, you say it's called Jupiter. However, if you are to take a telescope, it's one on my bucket list to go to Ethiopia and use one of their biggest observations to observe the stars. What you're observing is a light. The same way you're observing the sun, the same way you're observing the stars, what you're going to see is a light, or what you call an interaction between two atmospheres giving you that star or that light. So what do I mean? When you're observing something through the telescope, what you're going to see is an interaction of or a light of something. So today being Saturday or Saturn day, the influence that we are receiving is from that chakra or that body of water or that star that you are calling Saturn with its rings and everything, which is nothing but the symbol of Nike. Okay, when you are wearing a symbol of Nike today, what am I wearing? I'm wearing, is this Reebok? Yeah, a story for another day. So that Nike, that Satan ring, that tick, what you are calling Ineos or a tick, is supposed to signify the rings that you have behind that chakra or body of water or star or influence that you are calling Satan, the planet. Now, Saturn, the planet, being the seventh water interaction between our star and that star, means it's on the seventh day, meaning it's 180 degrees opposite the sun or the crown or the first house, or what you are calling Aries, or the face area, or what you call the crown chakra na vitu kama hizo. So now so we're about to talk about what you call the crown chakra. So the crown chakra, which is your headspace or the first house, or what you are calling Aries, or what you are calling the rising, or what you are calling spring, or what you are calling daybreak, which is between 6 and 8 a.m. in the morning, which is daybreak or dawn, or the first house, or what you call the crown chakra, has got its allegory or correspondence to things that happen in our chakra, what you're calling earth or things like that. So our crown chakra becomes the mindset that bends in on itself to create what you are calling the headspace or the first house or the face of something. Now, based on that, what happens is that the crown chakra, and shout out to the subconscious community and the wisdom of one Duilu, the pilot man. So the crown chakra or the mind state or the consciousness that bends in on itself as a light, as a reflection to create what you call one, your bone marrow. So, for example, when you go to the Kikuyus, they have a saying where they say, "Doteago utare moatie." What do they mean? When they say "Doteago utare moatie," they are talking about the shin bone, mudirimo, or a bone that you can find in a goat. And what they are telling the young men is that after you have had meat or you have eaten meat, you cannot throw away the bone. Calling the bone marrow. So, doteago tare moatie, meaning when you eat a bone or when you're having meat or soup, you have to take the bone, the piece of the bone, and you have to crack it open so that you can suck on tobo, what you call tobo. Wale wanakunywanga soup, unajua venye iyo bone marrow iko kwa soup is very important to you. Now, esoterically speaking, the reason doteago utare moati for the Kikuyu or the esoteric meaning behind you wanting to drink bone marrow is because when you are taking bone marrow, you are feeding on or you are, for lack of a better word, drinking or eating what you call the crown chakra or the mind state, which is the crown chakra of that being, of that cow, of that goat, of that person, for the people who eat people, that bends in on itself, which is nothing but a mind state, to create what you are calling bone marrow. You are following? Shout out to everyone in the comments. So that mind state that is bending in on itself to become what you call one, the blood cells. So when you are eating bone marrow from a bone of a goat or whichever animal you are eating, you are drinking or eating its blood cell or what you call the crown chakra, which is the first house or the beginning of that animal or that thing. That is why wanakuambianga ukiwa mgonjwa ukunywe supu. That is why wanakuambianga ukule, wanasema ukikunywa supu utajenga damu. Wanakuambia uko na shida ya mifupa, si ukunywe supu utengeneze blood cells. So the bone marrow or anything that condenses to become the bones, which is your bones, wewe, the skull or the bones that you have, whether it's in your hands or wherever the bones, I don't care which bones you have as long as it's not a boner. Even when it comes to a boner, you have to think about sex for you to have a hard-on. So you say that you have a boner, but this is coming from your first house or what you are calling the crown chakra for it to become a boner for you to go and fuck your girlfriend or your wife or whichever. Okay? So now, that mind state, which is nothing but a micro version of you before you go to the macro, is also the thing that creates what you call your kneecaps. So when you go to the Kikuyus or to the other people, nasikia wakisema, ukaigua modo waki, ndra turone mahedi, ai marumako ukaigua ki, when someone is talking of complaining of their knees, what do you tell them? Unaambianga kunywa supu. But mbona unaambiwa akunywe supu? Unaambiwa akunywe supu kwa sababu unajua supu ndio iko na bone marrow. And bone marrow is coming from the crown chakra, which is nothing but the first house. Okay? But the bones, supu, is also, or the crown chakra, is also the chakra that bends in, or the mind state that bends in on itself to create what you call your kneecaps, magoti yako. Kare mahiti, kare mutaga kare mahiti. And that is why, or this is the allegory, why we stand on our knees. This is why when you're having sex, you have to be on your knees, whether you're having it doggy style or whether you're having it missionary. You are going to be on your knees or your elbows, your other kneecaps from your, so you have your kneecaps from your knees. Then you have your other caps from your elbow. So you'll be having sex on your knees and elbows, or on your knees when you're having sex doggy styles, hitting it from the back, because by default that is the first house, or what you are calling the 10th house, which is Capricorn, which is nothing but the 10th house, which is something to do with structure. So what is 10? 10 is 1. You take 1 individuality and you are adding it into a big space 10 when you're doing the value of geometry, so that becomes 1. When you're doing numerology, which is the art of deduction, 10 becomes 1, 1 as an individual, then 0 becomes space, or taking that individuality and putting it into a big space. Ni sawa? Now, so this is even why we take the allegory or the 10th house or the crown chakra, and when you are creating what you call mnaitaje kitu mnavalishanga king kwa kichwa ndio akuwe crowned, the crown. Remember, what is the crown? Where do you wear the crown? You wear the crown on your head. When you have a king, you crown a king. Where do you crown the king? The head or the first house. So the allegory of the crown, or cutting out the top of the crown of a king. When a king becomes a king, you put a crown on top of his head. But the crown is open in the center. AKA, katikati hiyo crown munaekelea mfalme ama king, it's an open space. So that is the witchcraft, or the allegory of you opening up the canopy. AKA, you are opening up what you call the cornerstone. When you go to the Bible, they say the cornerstones that the builders refused. When you go to von Benjamin, shout out to von Benjamin, Akaibeka, alikuwa anasema, I'm the Kabastone, the original Kabastone, the Kabastone, I'm the original Kabastone, they don't know love. Yeah, even if you, whatever the song says, cause I'm the Kabastone, I'm the original Kabastone, the Kabastone. So the Kabastone, or what you are calling the cornerstone, means, or the crown that you put on top of a king's crown when you're crowning a king. So that is the allegory or the witchcraft of opening up the cornerstone or the canopy, or what you are signifying is that you are saying that the king, mwenye amechagua mfalme, has no firmament. So at the point that you need new knowledge, at the point on your head where you need new knowledge poured in, the crown chakra, since you are the king, unaongoza watu, you put on a crown that is open, because it is signifying that you are open to knowledge to pour from you from the heavens. All the way to the things that the Jews put on their head to signify that they have no hair. They are wearing what you can call, they are bald-headed. So they are open-headed. So they are open to receiving knowledge. Okay? So you are receiving to getting new knowledge, so that that knowledge can be poured in as all possibilities, you becoming the king, that you can rule the people. So this is the allegory of why a king has to wear a crown, and the crown is open on the top. The king's crown na vitu kama hizo. So when you're looking at these things, don't just look at things like, the king imweke crown, the king has been crowned. No. Everything that we are doing here is witchcraft and spells, is the rituals and spells. We are doing these things as allegory or correspondences to as above, so below. So Gigi is saying, I have a question about medium, Koeli. So now, so this is the thing now. When I say it's an open panel, you don't ask question. Now I'm distracted now by your question now. Ikisema ni open panel, you don't ask question. Ikisema you can request to be a guest, you don't have. When I want to teach, now you ask a question. Now I'm all totally, because now that send me on a whole new. That's a whole new subject. So that crown, and you can request anyway, you can request as a guest, and then you can ask your question vizuri ndio tushike venye unasema. So the crown chakra is created, or it is the mind state that bends in on itself to create what you call your kneecaps, or the 10th house, which becomes your knees. So ukienda kukunywa supu, the reason unataka kukula bone marrow, the reason ukienda kununua mifupa kwa butchery, unasema nataka hiyo mifupa na nataka yenye iko na bone marrow, is because your spirit knows that the bone marrow is a correspondence to the crown chakra, or what you call blood cells, or what you are calling the 10th house, which is the house for structure, standing, being able to stand on your feet, or you being able to stand on your word, aka you do not change your mind. So you are known for whatever you make your mind up to do, you do not change your mind. Ni sawa sawa? So wewe ukienda kuitisha kasupu, horera gathubu hau na wekire gacumbi kanini na tumite tunini. It's because deep down your spirit knows that you are taking, or you are sipping, or you are eating the crown chakra, or whichever that animal that was that died, which is a micro version of the rainbow of what you are calling the kneecaps, magoti yako. That is why when you are creating a helmet, wala watu wanaendanga na nduthi, the helmet has been designed after your kneecap. Gaka mwitaga kare mahiti, nikiugaga ati your kneecaps kare mahiti, that bone is unbreakable. So even when it came to us creating what you are calling a helmet, we had first of all to look at that bone that you are calling the kneecap, and understanding that the kneecap represents the 10th house, which is your knees, and understanding that you can withstand so many things on your knees, and that your knees are so strong. And the knees represent the 10th house, and the 10th house is what you call the CEO energy, or what you call Capricorn on you, or you being able to stand on your feet. Ni sawa? So that was a quick one on what you call the crown chakra. I don't want to do like a whole lecture on the crown chakra na vitu kama hizo. I just feel that it's a good thing to come in quickly, because I have people who watch me and they ride motorbikes and they don't even know where the design of the motorbike came from. So ukitaka kukua kichwa ngumu na utakangi kuvaa helmet na unaendanga na motorbike, wewe kunywa supu. Na unasikianga wakisema ukikunywa supu utakuwa na mifupa ngumu, kwa sababu supu iko na what you are calling the bone marrow, and it is associated with the crown chakra, which bending on itself to become the blood cells, or the kneecaps, or the 10th house, or what you call the bone marrow. And when you go to the Kikuyu, igua makiuga wega muno atiriri, nduteagwo utari mwatie, or you are going to hear them say, mwana aumaga muthimo, ti muthirimo, muthimo. Muthimo, the word muthimo in Kikuyu means a tube, but you are talking about a tubular tube, which is your tibia, the bone in your shins, just below your 10th house, Capricorn, your knee area, which is nothing but bone marrow. And you know that the bone marrow produces blood cells, and you know that blood cells produces the blood, and that is where you get your descendants. Shout out to everyone in the comments. Each one teach one. Today is the Sabbath, so it's a day for resting. I'm not even supposed to be teaching you. I'm supposed to be just resting, not even reminding you. So let me see if you have a question before I disappear. What of wenye wako na shida ya magoti? That is all 10th house energy. That's a consultation if you want. You don't even have to consult with me. Enda kwa mganga, enda wherever. Mwambie I was listening to Jenga Mudhaka on TikTok, and he told me that hii shida yangu yote niko nayo na magoti, it is associated with Capricorn. That will be on your chart when it comes to astrology, or it is associated to the 10th house, or the first house, or the crown chakra. Venye nimesema ni family, hiyo ni maneno ya family, ni maneno ya bone marrow, ni maneno ya blood, ni vitu kama hizo. Ni sasa. So ukienda kwa mganga already uko na 1+ ahead, you already know because already you are warned or you know or have reminded you. So asiende kukuambia ni maneno ingine, akupea tu maneno ya familia. Kwa hivyo kama ni mori, kama ni maneno ya ogorani, mutapeleka ukaigua ni ogorani, ni mori, ni maundu ma mucie, ni thire, ni kaundu gatwatwarirwo, but now by default you know because you have the esoteric wisdom behind it. I have a question about medium coeli. You never asked, you just said you have a question. So you keep your question because you said you have a question, you never asked. I came by looking for the questions. Bado naona hujauliza, you just said you have a question. So you like having questions. So I cannot answer you because you didn't ask. You just said you have a question. So you keep the question to yourself because haukuuliza. Instead of saying I have a question, ungeuliza. Shout out to Gigi. Gigi anasema asanti. Medium coeli in Capricorn. Umekuja sasa. Now, Mton, how do I astro project easily? There's nothing like astro projecting easily or in a hard way. You have to understand what we mean when we talk of astro projecting. Anything that you are calling astro is something that is outside of you. It is external, outside. So what is to project? Think about a projector. When you unaeka movie, una project with a light, and you need a background or what you call a film for you to see what you are projecting. So esoterically speaking, without all this halabalu and all these other languages na vitu zingine zenye zimekuwa zikiconfuse watu, when you astro projecting is when you have a vision and you can already see how that vision is going to go. That is astro projecting. Wacha kudanganywa na YouTube, sijui astro project. Oh, I was astro projecting. And now you think that you have to see visions of vitu zingine. Astro projecting is when you have an idea, and when you put that idea out there, you can see the outcome of that idea. Wacha turudishie huyu wa medium coeli in Capricorn. Kindly explain. So Gigi, Capricorn is the 10th house, or what you call the knee area, or what you call your CEO type of energy, which will be associated with business and success and you being able to stand on your knees, aka whether it's your word or being known for something, which is what you call structure na vitu kama hizo. Now, a medium. What is a medium? A medium is something that you use to communicate between two things. Now, what is coeli? Coeli, by default, when you start with anything that starts with the letter C, which is one, Aleph, a point of reference for the first time, then we have B, Bether, a house, a home, a Bethlehem, two. Then we have three, okay? What you call Gmail or Camel, or what you call a container, or number three, your surrounding. So you take the medium, what you are using to communicate, then you take coeli, a container, the name that you are giving that thing, then you take it to Capricorn, the 10th house, and the qualities of Capricorn. Then there you have your answer. I can take you to the river. I can show you how to make a cup. Now you go drink. Because when you're asking that question, I already know why you're asking that question. I already know. But the people who explain that medium coeli to you, it has a different meaning to them than to you. All I can do is show you how to make a cup, take you to the river. However, I don't make you drink. You now take that cup, go to the river, and drink to your fill. Sasa, that is how you do it. That is how you help people help themselves instead of just feeding people knowledge. Because like I said, you do not have to follow me. You do not have to do what I tell you. You don't even have to believe me. However, you can now go and add onto that knowledge or wisdom that I've given you. Do have a beautiful Saturday, aka Sabbath, aka a mini Ramadan. It's a day for resting. It's a day to reflect on where you are from the first day, the crown chakra, Sunday, the day of your individuality, tomorrow when you have my meetup, Jenga na Jenga in Kikuyu town, before you take it into a Monday, reflecting on what you started on a Sunday, the day of your individuality, your solar plexus, the 5th house, you being known for something. Then on a Monday, you are reflecting before you take it to a Monday or Tuesday and taking action. Then you can communicate it about it on a Wednesday or Wednesday, Mercury. Before now, you expand on it on a Thursday, Thursday, and then on a Friday, Venus, love and appreciation. You can enjoy all that so that on a Saturday today, you can take a mini Ramadan or take a step back and see if your dreams and imaginations were in the right place so that tomorrow you can start it all again. So happy mini Ramadan to everyone in the comments. Happy Sabbath in everyone in the comments. Happy Saturday. The colors for today is usually black. It's a day to be wearing things like black on that nature. So I'm an earth side, mid-heaven Taurus. Black earth, black everywhere, top, bottom. And I'm not saying you to wear black. I'm just saying those are the colors of the day, mini Ramadan, because we are 180 degrees opposite the sun, or what you call the first house, or what you call the crown chakra, or the beginning of the day. Nĩ thayũ. So in Kikuyu tumĩtaga mũtuarũru. So wathi waigua mũgĩkũyũ ĩkwĩraga wega mũno ndũteagwo ũtarĩ mwatie. Nĩkĩ? Nĩgetha ũrute tombo ũcio wĩ hau thĩiniĩ, or what you are calling the bone marrow, which represents nothing but the crown chakra. And these are the organs, kana ciĩga iria ciekũnjire cigĩcreate what you call the bone marrow, the crown chakra, or blood cells, or what you call the 10th house, which goes all the way down to your karemahiti, the kneecaps. Karemahiti niho twarutire design ya go create k helmet. We no we ati ni urimaga uturitie maru ndukanjurie kuri urimaga uturitie maru ni kuri urimaga uturitie maru na igokora. So the 10th house, Capricorn ni area karemahiti, hau niho twarutire kirira ya gutura kindu gitagwo helmet ya nduthi. Ni kumenya ati no wikinyire na maru, koguo no uthondeke helmet na energy ya 10th house na kurigiriria riria wagwa na nduthi kana maundu mangi. Tutwe mata mau tutingenda mundu wituragira gwa na nduthi. Twendaga ugi, twendaga maundu mothe magakorwo me mega, kurwagiraga hindi ciothe. Nĩ thayũ, thayũ wa mwene nyaga, na nĩ thayũ. Wamba gutirira hau, mambo ni mengi, muda ni muchache. Na ndakwira wega muno, the crown chakra represents, na haha no twarutire wathani wa kuigirira muthamaki kiria twitaga crown, or what you call the king's crown, or kiria gitumaga crown gia king gikorwo gikihinguku agatagati, which represents the open canopy, or the open cornerstone, ihiga ria koine, the stone that the builders refused, as a representation of you squaring out the firmament, opening up the firmament, and waikurukirio ugi ni nyene, nigetha ugi cio ikurukire we nyene wita muthamaki ugathana. Everything is witchcraft, na ni thayo.